Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we are creating this single page website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now in the previous video, we created the responsive design of the hero section, and this is how it looks. Now in this video, we will make the other sections of our website responsive as well. So let's get started. So let's go to the style.css file, and the first thing we will do is we will add a font size of 30 for all the H2s. So here we can see we have this H2 for the heading. So let's tap H2 and let's set the font size to 30 pixels. Right now for each of the sections, let's add a padding inline, which is padding left and right of 30 pixels. Right now here we can see we have this services section, and it is inside this division with the class of services container, and in that we have all these services. So right now it is set to 2 columns in a row. So let's select the services container division. So let's tap dot services container, and let's set the grid template columns to just 1 FR, which means just 1 column. Now we can see that all of them are displayed in 1 column. So with that, we have completed making our services section responsive. Now let's move on to the next section, which is this about section right here. Now for the about section, we want the image to be on the top and the text at the bottom. So if we go back to the index.html file, here we can see we have this about section, and that we have this content, and in the content we have the left and the right sections. So right now it is set to display of flex. So if we scroll up, and here we can see for the about content, it is set to display of flex. Now let's set the flex direction to column so that the image is on the top and the text content at the bottom. So let's type hash about content and flex direction to column. And now let's set the height of the image. So let's tap about content img, and let's set the height to 300 pixels and object fit to cover so that it has the correct aspect ratio, and let's also set the width to 100 viewport width. Right now for the right section, we need to have some padding. So let's type hash about right, and let's set the padding to 30 pixels. Right now let's move on to the next section, which is this blog section. And if you go back to the HTML file, here we can see that we have this cards container over here. So let's select that and just tap dot cards container, and let's tap grid template columns to just 1 FR. And let's also add some gap between the elements. So let's tap gap of 50 pixels. And with that, we have made our blog section responsive. Now let's move on to the testimonials section. So for the testimonials section, we have this swiper with the class of testimonials swiper. So let's go ahead and target that. I'll just tap testimonials swiper. And in that we have this swiper slide. So let's tap dot swiper slide. And let's set the padding inline, which is padding left and right, to 50 pixels. And let's set the padding block, which is padding top and bottom, to 0. Right now let's set the font size of this paragraph. So let's tap testimonials swiper, swiper slide P, and let's set the font size to 18 pixels. Right now let's style these buttons. So let's tap testimonials swiper, and we have the buttons with the class of swiper button next and swiper button priv. So let's tap testimonials swiper, swiper button priv, and let's set the padding to 8 pixels, and let's set the width and the height to 40 pixels. Now let's add a little bit of padding to the content as well, because the content is touching these arrows. So here we can see we have this content division. So let's type testimonial swiper, swiper slide, content, and let's set a padding inline of, let's try 20 pixels. and I think that looks alright. So with that, we have made our testimonial section responsive. Now let's move on to the next section, which is the contact section. Now we want to have these two input fields, one below the other. Now if you go to the HTML file, here in the contact section, we can see that we have this group division, and in that we have these two input fields. Now we have set the display of this group to flex. So if you scroll up here for the contact section, here we can see that the display is set to flex. Now we can simply go ahead and set the flex direction to column. So let's tap #contact group and flex direction to column. And with that, the contact section is done. So let's scroll down, and here we have the footer. So let's type footer, and we want all these sections to be one below the other. So if you go back to the HTML file, here we can see inside the sections division, we have the left section, and then we have the center section, then we have the right section. So let's type dot sections, and let's set the flex direction to column, and we'll also text align it to the center. And let's set a gap of 30 pixels. And now these social icons are not exactly in the center. So for that, let's go ahead and select that. I'll just have footer, and they are inside this socials division. So let's tap dot socials, and if we add the background color over here, we can see that it has this full width. So we can just simply go ahead and type justify content to center, because it is already set to display of flex. And now we can see that it is in the center. So with that, we have made our footer responsive as well. And in this way, we have completely made our website responsive. So that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.